This is the Tri Swim Coach Podcast, where the most difficult leg of the triathlon becomes your friend, leaving your struggles and your competition behind you. TrySwimCoach.com, helping you to laugh at the water.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tri Swim Coach Podcast. Thanks for joining today. This is episode number 117. And this is going to be a shorter episode for sure, and definitely a more philosophical one. We've had some of our recent episodes have been more technical and then kind of structuring workouts and things like that. And I just kind of want to take a step back. If you are a subscriber to the Tri Swim Coach newsletter, and a lot of people found out about the podcast through our newsletter, and a lot of people found out about the newsletter through this podcast. But if you are one of our subscribers, you might have noticed a change in tone, like maybe 5-6 months ago. And I've been writing a lot more frequently and a lot more kind of philosophically and more about the mental side of sports, triathlon, swimming. And really, I think that's the most important thing here in doing a sport like triathlon, doing a sport like swimming, is the mental side. And all of this, the technique talk, it is important, of course, because swimming is so technical and there's so much to learn. And it seems like, being a coach for well over a decade now, I just learn things all the time. And, I learn things from actual swimmers, some of my students that I am made aware of all the time. And then also from other coaches, from my own swimming, all kinds of things, and then just my own experiences in life. But I want to talk today about something a little more philosophical. And I wrote an email, a while back. Actually, it was in December of last year. But I wanted to read it off on this podcast and then just talk about it a little bit. And I'm also curious if anyone has any thoughts on this. So anyway, the title of the email was Triathlon As Art. So I'm just reading what I wrote back in December. I just finished this book called The Icarus Deception by Seth Godin. It's about never holding back your art from the world. Your art could be the more traditional ways we think of art, like paintings, photography, or music. Or it could be your passion and or a business idea. In the book, Godin talks about the importance of artistic expression, whatever that is for you. Holding this back is very common in our world. Most people don't want to stand out from the crowd out of fear of getting made fun of, fear of failure, fear of getting one's ego crushed, or just the overall desire to be liked by as many people as possible. And this holding back is what hurts us. Year after year, we don't maximize our lives, but instead, quote, play it safe. And safety ends up creating a boring life where the idea of accomplishing goals isn't even on the radar. The myth is that by playing it safe, we can be fulfilled. This is what we were taught from a young age. But as the author points out, breaking past comfort zones and letting your art shine through is where the good stuff happens. For some, this can be racing a triathlon. This accomplishment can pay dividends both on race day and in other areas of life. Perhaps you never thought you could do this, but finishing a race could propel you to defeating the odds in other parts of your life. Perhaps this is the time of your life where you need a challenge, something that doesn't require luck or knowing the right people or being at the right place at the right time. It's just you and the course and the clock. Your, quote, art could come from the challenges that come with this sport. Turning that buoy could be turning the corner in your life. The transition could represent a change in career path. Making it to the top of that hill could finally be accomplishing a health goal. Whatever it is for you, full expression is the path to fully living and experiencing what life has to offer. Here's to laughing at the water, Kevin. So I changed our slogan there to, instead of laughing at the water, to befriending the water. So there's a slight difference there. But anyway, I wanted to bring this up because I think this is something that really goes to the heart of all of this training and everything that we're doing here in this sport, in whatever your challenge is. If you keep this in mind, this is kind of that why statement. And we talk about this in our course, in the Fit Triathlete course, which is more of an overall way to get healthy and fit for triathlon. But this is the, getting to that why, like, why are you doing this? If you can really tap into that, and it can take a little bit of time. It can take time, spent just by yourself, writing, thinking about this, talking to a friend or something. And that'll sort of bring out this inner desire to accomplish. And when you can tie it in and really bring it out in terms of like an art, something that you're bringing to the world. Now, you finishing a triathlon may not be bringing something to the world, but by doing that, by finishing that triathlon or by landing on the podium, whatever your goal is, that could propel you to do all kinds of other things in your life that do bring out the best in you and this inner self that is striving to get out there and really accomplish something and really, give back to the world. As much as that it sounds cliche, I think it's really important here. And so I wanted to bring that up on this podcast. And going forward, we're going to kind of do a combination of different shows. So it's not just about technique. It's not just about how to get faster. And it's not just about the latest and greatest in swimming or triathlon or endurance sports. All those things are great. And I love talking about them. But this is a really important part. So if you want more like this, we do have a regular newsletter that goes out. And if you opt into our list, and this is not a sales pitch to opting in to our newsletter list, but I just wanted to mention this in case you enjoy this kind of conversation. We have a list where we send out 3 common mistakes that triathletes make, and those are videos. And so if you haven't seen those are great. Those are a great way to kind of lock in your swim or even, just start out with something that you can work on right away that we give you. And then from there's several emails that kind of go into some of this theory. And this is one of them, actually. The Art of Triathlon is one of those emails. But there are several emails that go out that are sort of describing this philosophy. And then we have sort of a daily email. It comes out about 5 days a week, but it gets into all kinds of different topics that have to do with triathlon. Sometimes they're really technical swimming stuff, and sometimes they're more philosophical like this one. But a lot of people have told me that they really like these newsletters, these emails. And so if that's something that you think you might like, go ahead and join us there. And you can go to tryswimcoach.com or tryswimlessons.com, like the voice in the podcast says. But either way, I'd love to hear from you and let me know if this is something you do want to hear about. That would be awesome. And if you do like this podcast, would also love it if you could give us a rating and review on iTunes. So you just open up iTunes and search for Tri Swim Coach, and we should come up, and then you can click on the rating and review. That would be awesome. And that's it for today. I don't have a lot more to say. We're going to be back on soon. I'll probably have Chris on, and we'll have some other guests on. I've been talking to some people about chatting on the podcast, but stay tuned. And thanks again for listening. Really appreciate that. Go out there and have a great week of training and befriend the water, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Tri Swim Coach podcast. If you like this show, consider giving us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we'll read it off on the next show. And to get the latest triathlon swimming tips, tricks, blogs, and podcasts, go to tryswimcoach.com. See you next time. Until then, befriend the water.